As promised in our previous video, we promised that we're going to come here and we're going to talk further about MRP and what MRP is going to offer Malawi post these elections if MRP was to win. We also discussed a possibility of MRP going into an alliance and what would that mean. And we also promised that we're going to come and talk about the youth and economic agendas and how MRP wants to station Malawi, forgive me, on the African continent and the world as a whole. But first things first, we want to focus on the symbolic. And I want to ask a question to you. Why is it that all of the political parties in Malawi currently always use faces on logos, but it seems that on your political party it is not a face, it seems to be some head? Where is the head coming from? Is it your head? The symbolic?
Well, politically, truthfully, honestly, many political parties in Africa, I cannot say many, but in Malawi particularly, they believe that a face of a political party is the leader, the people who founded it. And usually you find that that political party, its history goes in the face of a person or a family. So our country now has this belief that this is a family political party. So you find that many political parties, they feature a face of a person who founded it, or maybe the founder, and there is now a logo that explains what they are going to do. Maybe they are focusing much on food, focusing much on freedom, focusing much on their symbols that they put.
Like the cock.
They like in Malawi party, they put a cock. DPP's got the corps of maize. UDF, the sign of unity. Yeah. In our political party, our sign is the brains. We blot the brain of a human being because that's the source of all ideas, the source of all opinions, the source of all logic. So we decided that let us not feature a person, because watching a political party, revolutionary, is not, it's a generational politics, generational idea, generational ideology. So some of us who have started it are going to die. So the youth will come and take over. The other generation will come and take over. Now, if I put my face on the political party, now everyone is going to look at me, my character, my behavior, how I do. So it's going to kind of deceive the future ideas. So we put a brain, particularly and specifically, to open the mind of people that it's only in the brains where all ideas, civilization comes from, poverty comes from, everything comes from the brain. So we are more deeper, more than other political parties. Because other political parties, they had to use the brain to think what they're going to do in the country. That's why they bring cops, a cock. But to us, we are now bringing the origin, the genesis of ideas. So to us, it's the brain.
So this is why civic education is such a big thing, and would you say that this is what makes you different from the 23 political parties in Malawi?
We are very much different because the name itself stands for, in African tradition, if you want to fight freedom, if you want to fight war, you use a spear. So that's movie in Islam, in our language. Now we say, what type of movie, what type of spear is that? It's a truthful spear. That's chirunga. That's justice. You understand? Now there is a word, revolution. Revolution is something that must come like in a way of a storm. A storm, a current, you understand? Hurricane, something that sweeps. So this is where we're different from other 23 political parties. Very, very different, because for us, we don't want to just carry on an ideology of another political party. That's why we put brain. We need to start from the beginning. Last time we talked about resetting the nation, rebooting the nation, meaning we have to start all over. Because as I said before, the governments that have come, 6 of them, There are some people that are still working in civil service from 1964. If it's not them, their children took over. So you find that the mentality, the character, the way of working, the lifestyle is the same. So Movi wants to change, to revolutionize the whole system so that we must know that who has a weakness, who is a failure, and where we are failing. Because I want to tell you, 5 governments cannot all fail. You understand? They cannot all fail because everybody who wants to come into the government has an idea, I want to do this A, B, C, D. But when they get in, you know, now with government, this is what they call protocol. You sign oath where they say you don't reveal or expose what you discuss inside. But if there was no that oath, many presidents or many governments will come and say, we came with this idea, but when we went in, we found something different. And we cannot come back and report to the people that this is what we found, that's why we have changed the color, because of the oath they signed. So for us, we want to revolutionize, sweep out. Now you may ask me a question, are you going to change the whole entire civil service? No. That's why we put the brains. We want to change their thinking capacity. Mindset change.
So with this mindset change, does this also mean that you're going to come in and do things differently from the status quo?
Exactly. The very same people, there is this word that they say, how do you change a sinking object to float? The same object, when you throw in the water, it sinks. But then how do you change it to float? The solution is you change the shape. So mindset change is going to change the shape, the thinking capacity, the way they understand government, change them so that they can now float. Because economically, politically, social welfare has sunk in Malawi. All those have sunken. This, as we go ahead, you find that our economy ever since 1964, all preceding, or let me say, all succeeding governments, the economy keep on falling. Now, if I may ask you, all those people, they don't have ideas on how the economy can change or recover.
Before we move on to the economic agenda, which is a very important
one, yeah.
to focus.
Yeah.
I want to focus on this mindset change point that you're making, and how you say you want a sinking object to float, meaning you want to change the entire look of Malawi.
Exactly.
Why you? Because I understand that you are not the face of the political party,
in Malawi.
But at the end of the day, you are the person who's bringing in these ideas. So what makes you different from all of the men who have come before?
The difference is that, one, we are introducing mindset change as a fundamental principle in the entire system of government.
So you don't work alone?
No, we don't work alone, because there are some people that are there. We are going to make sure that they change and follow up our ideas, that here we want to do things in a different way. All this past system, they have been ideological. We are not going into ideology. We are going to realism. Let us do what needs to be done. And let us tell the people exactly what is happening. In other words, we are breaking the protocol. The oath that happens inside that you don't need to reveal. We are going to break that chain. We will tell the people the truth, so that they may be with us as we transform the country. Because as it is now, it will take us maybe 2 years to change the face of the country. By that 2 years, Malawians will have to be with us. Otherwise, they will turn against us, because we are busy sweeping the entire system, so that the results and the fruits must be shown in the next second year or towards the third year. That's when Malawians will be able to see that, oh, they have swept the house, all the data is out, we're seeing it, now we can see light. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the economics of the situation. During the time of Kamuzu Banda, the economy was much more stable than it is right now.
Very, very much.
Now, it's a mess. It's a mess. We have, back in the day, we had, what was it? Was it 4 kwacha to the US dollar?
To the US dollar. That is 1994.
Currently.
But 31 years later, it's now 5,000 black market to $1. If you talk about official rate, and you know, this is why I say ideological politics of Malawi has killed our nation. Because in reality, the exchange rate of our kwacha is almost 5,000, if not 4.8 kwacha, 1,000 kwacha per $1. But if you go into official rate, government official rate, it's 1.7. But then you can't go anywhere in the country where you change your dollar 1.7. You can't. So you go on a black market. Now it looks like the whole system of government is moving on the black market. Government, black market. Trade, black market. Economy, black market. Social welfare, black market. And in black market, that's where corruption is sleeping.
It reminds me of this story. I don't know where I was listening to this, but I was listening to issues about the DRC.
Yes.
And what I heard is that army militias go around and they tax citizens. If you're just walking, you're taxed. If you're with a motorbike, you're taxed. And when people went to go and investigate the matter, they came to find out even the government was in on that. And it seems as if Malawi is in a situation where everything is black market and there's no form or rule of law.
No. Formal rule of law is only when we pay tax. But when the government wants to offer services back to people, it's black market. Why do I say black market? You go to the hospital today as a citizen, you will be treated, but they will tell you that you must go and buy medicine from the chemist.
Yet, this is a government.
This is the government hospital where I need to get all the services. I need to be treated, receive medicines here. But I'm told, and usually sometimes they even tell you where you must go and buy, which pharmacy, which chemist. That's black market. Now, if you go deeper, that's why I say we need to sweep the whole situation, because the system. Because when you go deeper, you find that one of these doctors, they own that chemist. So their market is people who are coming to this government hospital. That's the danger of the country.
Meaning that if you don't have any money, you die.
No, you die, you can't get treatment. And it's very, very pathetic, because people that are suffering from cancer-related diseases, HIVs, these dangerous diseases, they are turned back in hospitals telling them we don't have facilities, such as either bottles that they need to take specimen or something, they don't have. Plastics that they use or gloves, they don't have. They tell them, go and buy gloves so that me as a nurse and a doctor must use it to treat you. That is a government that has been independent, or that is a country that has been independent 61 years ago. If that is happening now, then you should know something is terribly wrong. And what is it? The system.
That is as good as a human rights violation.
It's not just violation, but abuse. Because if Malawians were very much enlightened, they would all vote against the system, not the government, against the system. So that government must wake up and say, no, let's revamp, let's reboot, let's reset this system, because it's abusing our people.
But would that work? Because there's been many revolts and many protests.
It can't work, because first of all, you need to use the brain, meaning that citizens must all be awake. They must be awakened. Their brain must understand what is their role as citizens. At the moment, they only know that we pay tax. But what is the duty of that tax? What has the government got to do with that tax? Many citizens, out of 100, maybe who understands, are only 93%. 37%. 93 people won't understand anything. What they know is that's government. Now, I told you last time that we're coming from a system which we called Tangata, helper. So you can find that ideologically, Malawians believe that government is there for us to help it. So when we pay tax, it's like we are giving it to the white people, to the colonial master, because by then they made us work for free. So that mentality has continued, and governments that have come, 5 of them, they enjoy it because they know that they cannot be questioned. So we want to open a door that Malawians must be able to question us. You enter in, but now here we don't see any change. Things are still going down. They should have that liberty to question.
So I guess that highlights this economic agenda of movie, or is there anything more you can speak on that?
This is where in trying to revamp and reset the system, we need to know where taxes of citizens go. And by this, we are breaking the oath, whereby they say, according to government secrets, don't open up what happens in the cabinet, don't reveal to the people. that also is a trap that is trapping citizens. We want to come in, sweep, and in sweeping, the debt will go out, and Malawians will see what is wrong. So they will realize why our economy continue falling, continue collapsing. Because, in our country, we cannot lie to say our country is poor. I don't believe and I don't accept.
But where would you stand against the likes of South Africa and Botswana in terms of your resources? And
many people believe that South Africa is rich in resources and Botswana is rich in resources. Botswana's resource is only diamonds. Only. The entire vast land is just idle. Our country is 118,000 square kilometers, but 1/6 of it is water. The rest is arable land. In our country, in the mountains, people are plowing. But government don't have mechanism or support or maybe new technical ideas how they can plow in those mountains to produce more. Our country just needs a new mindset where we can produce more and sell. I have heard some other political friends are saying it's trade. Now we are going to the government for trade. You need to understand the word trade. Government is there to save. So if you are there to save, how are you going to trade? This is the same capitalism that many African countries, particularly this country, Malawi, is a misunderstanding of the word capitalism. If you are a government, you are saving, and you are saving the people. When you use the word trade, be very careful. Because many people will not understand. In trade, there's profit. But in government, you have to save. That's why you receive free tax from people. That's not trade. But then you must just be careful. How do we use these taxes? So that we can at least give holiday or tax holiday to our people. What is a tax holiday? It's not to make them not to pay tax. But give them more so that we can at least sell as a government. Produce more, or let the people produce more, then sell out. When you are selling out, you'll find that what you are consuming is less, but what you are exporting is more. Our country lives in opposite. We consume more and export nothing. We consume more and produce nothing. You understand? So when I tell you that this country is different from other countries, our country produces anything that is planted. Tomato, potato, leaves, that's vegetables, Irish potato, sunflower, coffee, macadamia, sugarcane, all these are planted and they are crops that can grow in abundance in our country. Botswana don't do that. Don't produce that. So the only thing that needs brain now is when we produce all these things, how do we benefit outside? So it's a matter of looking for markets. But then you should know tomatoes are perishable. Most of the things are perishable. That's where the brain comes. We must find means of canning or processing them so that we can continue selling the entire year. Today, our people, we say they are people, we are poor people. But I'll tell you that many families that produce tomato, maybe, I'm told, it's 30 tons that we lose in every day. 30 tons of tomato is disposed in a day just because we can't use them tomorrow. They are perishable. So why don't the government now put a mechanism that these 30 tons that we spend in a day, that is perishable in a day, let us process them, can them. That is to market. You understand?
I mean, it's clear that previous governments, and I would also say the current government of Malawi, don't understand that there's policy and regulations in order to protect the citizens, meaning citizens going into business.
Yes.
Protect the farmer from being exploited from any outside investors.
Exactly.
And it's very hurtful to hear that they want to go into government and trade instead of protect.
That is where we differ. Movie is coming to protect the citizen and encourage the citizen to produce more by giving them machinery, mechanisms, and technical advice on how they can produce more. You understand? Government at the moment, I'll give an example of AIP. And this is a system that is now political, it's no longer for economy. It's no longer for commercial. It's political. There is always, many political parties, they win elections with an incentive that we're going to reduce the cost of fertilizer. Fertilizer is the only commodity that makes us to produce. And everyone comes with his own intensive. We produce coupons, and we're going to produce, maybe they say subsidies, and sometimes we say we're going to reduce the price at like totally down. 4,495. You understand? Per 50 kg bag. All these are political gimmick because the people don't get anything. If this was true, we couldn't have hunger in our country. But this is a political gimmick, a way of getting to the government. When you get in there, then everything turns. Fertilizer is never down. Fertilizer is never available. Fertilizer is not even given to all the people that are farmers. In our country, everybody is a farmer. Everyone. There's no one in Malawi who don't have a piece of land. Everyone is going to farm. If you just encourage them, give them all the tools, they will produce. And government will even have nowhere to keep. That's where you look for an outside market.
It seems as if Malawi has not truly found the level of industriousness that it has, or it has not industrialized itself, and Movie wants to bring that to Malawi.
This is why we are called a revolution. We are taking that point of view as that the mind has not been industrialized. The mentality of particularly those big heads, they have not brought that idea of industrialization. I will even tell you that if it was easy to talk to Malawians one by one, Movie is the only government, is the only political party that can twist the whole mentality of laziness, the whole mentality of self-enrichment, the whole mentality of looking at the country as a milking cow. Because most of our political parties, most of governments that have been there before, they use the country as a milking cow. But now, if we talk about elections that are coming, the cow is now pale. The cow is thin. There's no milk at all to milk from. So why don't we feed the cow so that we can now produce milk? And in our case, the milk is not for me to drink. It's for the country to sell. So that the very same people who produce that milk should receive dividends. You understand?
The last 10 minutes that we have here on the show, since a lot of you are complaining about data, I want us to highlight the youth. We have had a lot of political rhetoric. Everybody is giving promises, and I believe it's 60% of the country's youth.
Yes.
Why we've had an experiment with democracy.
Yeah.
I feel like as a youth in Malawi have lost hope. What is MRP going to say in that regard? Unemployment, lack of foresight, lack of purpose.
That is the biggest problem this country has faced because it ignores or overlooks the youth. The youth comprise of 60% of population. It's a young population. It's a young country. The youth are the ones that are in majority. But you find that for the past 31 years, the youth has been exploited. If you use the youth today, you have to be a stooge of a political party, a stooge of a politician. Because me, I have my own mood, my own ideas, and I've got my own agenda, so that I can continue staying in power. So the only time I need the youth is to use them to do something bad. Attack other political opponents. Try to, I'm trying to switch the mindset of the youth to think that they must save me, not themselves. That is the biggest problem. So our political party, the revolutionary idea, is coming first to infuse in the youth that industrialization in their heart. They shouldn't be allowed. They shouldn't allow any politician to use them. Number one. Number two, they must force politicians to industrialize them. Because if we want this economy to develop, then we must use the youth. You understand? So there is a need. but currently we hear about commercial farming and other stories that are happening in the country. But you find that the youth, not even 10%, are owning that economy of commercial farming. But if you want to develop, you need to strengthen the youth by giving them energy. That energy is empowering them with resources, give them land, and tell them this is what you should do. And being the youth that are futuristic, they'll make sure that we don't want to be in the next year with the same situation that we're here. By next year, we should improve because they are still growing up. They have dreams. You understand? They usually say that life begins at 40. A youth is agenda or a youth is motive is that by 40, I want to make sure that I've got a house, I've got a car, I've got business, I've got bank account, I've got savings. Even my parents, you understand, they are safe, they are insured in many aspects. But the youth of Malawi will never think about it because themselves, they can't afford to dress themselves, even to feed themselves, even to have a home. Instead, we have now been, let me say they, because I'm a bit above a youth stage. Instead, what they do now is survival of the fittest. Let align myself to this political party as long as they give me the clubs. So once you use the youth for clubs, the nation is dead. Yeah.
There's a lack of also the mentality is not being challenged.
The mindset itself in our country is going opposite. The way we started in 1964, it is the same. We have not revolutionized it. We have not changed it. We have not even turned it because we have been going south. It's time to go north. We've been going west. It's time to go east. We need to change. Any other direction we took from 1964, this time go the other direction. That's the only way this country will move.
Lastly, do you believe movies that designate as savior or rescue of Malawi?
I don't believe I know.
Oh.
Believing is like you suspect. But I know because I'm one of the people who have been there. I know the whole history from 1964. I have watched Kamusbanda running the country. I've watched Bagir Muz running the country. I've watched Bingo Mtariga. I've watched Joyce Banda. I've watched Peter Mtariga. And I'm one of the people that fought for Jaguar to be in the government. But I'll tell you this. The mistake of our country is that people who fight for that freedom are never incorporated or indulged into the government. They say, you helped us, thank you. You get outside of the house. Inside now, people that are invited to form the new government are people who don't even know why we went to fight, why we fought. This is the biggest problem. So I know, or our party know that the problem is this mentality, mindset. You understand? So we are the only hope. We are the only hope, and movie is the only future for Malawi. Rest, there's no future because it will be the same system, just revising itself. You understand? For example, we have managed to compare 5 governments, what they have done, and their weaknesses. We know that this one, their weakness was this. This one, their weakness is this. Like I gave you last time, in our last episode, I said, our country, we don't know who are heroes. Our heroes are political parties and politicians. But a nation must have its own heroes. When you are looking at heroes of a nation, there's no discrimination. There's no political flag. You look at the ways, the works that a person, a particular hero did for the country, not for a political party, not for that family, not for which region, but who did what for this country. That's a hero. Up to now, these 6 governments have not introduced that law of who is a hero of the nation. So we know who is a hero. And when we are trying to identify the real heroes, we'll find that there's national healing, there's national reconciliation, there's one Malawi, one people. Through that. So if we know about that, that's now social welfare. In the economy, if I may give you a brief, in the economy, we need to find out why did we sell all state enterprises? And if possible, let's get them back. You understand? And when they get back, they must now tally with the current situation, not leave the same past. We are now in a democracy. We are now in a free enterprise system. We are looking at capitalism, but capitalism is good for business. And here as a government, we have to save the people. How are we going to twist? Because capitalism must be twisted, one or another, if we want to make this country different. Or if our economy is going to change, we need to make sure that capitalism must be twisted, looking at the point where we are saving. And we're not only here for profit, because we're not business people. We are facilitators. We have to facilitate for our people. We have to save. We have to facilitate the country. So on business, on capitalism, we need to make sure we twist it. It's a two-way: service and trading, service and business. So there, we need to be very much objective. But I don't see that in other political parties.
Oh, there you have it. Reawakening Malawi. We brought another episode to you, and we're hoping to come back and give you some more. We hope to get comments from you on the next episode. I would like to receive voice notes that we can actively listen to and actively answer. And any other things that you wish we should bring up, because this is not a conversation that is enclosed in a bubble. It is a conversation with the country. It is a conversation with the youth. It is a conversation with civil service, the military. The military is never mentioned.
But that one will come. If you give me 5 minutes to close up, I think I will also include that.
As I said, it is a conversation with the entire country. So I would like to hand over the final minutes to Mr. Bantu here, and then we're going to log off.
Fellow Malawians, our country has clocked 61 years. In 61 years, most of you, or many of you, all of you believe that when a new government comes, there's nothing that can change. The economy will continue collapsing. As I said, our kwacha, when we came out of Wanibada State to Madibada State, it was 4 kwacha, 46 tambala to $1. Each and every government that came, the economy continued collapsing. It's not a tradition. It's not the culture. And that's not the meaning of democracy. It just needs people that can turn the mindset that time must come now that we should change our economy. How do we change it? It's not by looking outside, looking within. What do we have? We have lakes, full of them. What do we have? We have arable land. And in that arable land, there is agriculture land. In that arable land, there are minerals. And then we have one big resource, manpower. 60% of our people are young people. With fresh blood, we can do better and the economy can change. So what we need to do is, I want all of us as Malawians to think again. Are we happy with the status quo? Or we are not? If you are not, then 16 September is the answer. There are many political parties. Listen to all objectives, plans and the policies. It's your choice. Particularly you, 60% of our people. 60 out of 100, you are the youth. You are the future of Malawi. Think again. Move Chilungamo is a revolutionary party. It's a spear of truth. And if you entrust and if you look at us and give us a taste, this country will never be the same. It will be a paradise. Thank you very much.